Hi everybody, this is Gary Carburetor. I'm back with another video and an important message concerning Carnivore Camaraderie, some new stuff that's been happening. Now, although I want to get away from the circus, I do want to add my thoughts on these recent events, mostly about the vegan side and how they're handling it. And you know, that's really the main reason I started making videos 8 years ago, to improve the way the vegan community operates. All right, to bring you up to date, there was a debate maybe 10 days ago between Carnivore Camaraderie and the Nutrivore, I think his name is. I'm not familiar with him, but I have made a video about this Camaraderie guy a couple weeks ago. So they had a debate, and it's no spoiler. It doesn't spoil anything to tell you that the vegan won. Well, they usually do, but this case, this was a different level of winning. See, here's a response video that Lifting Vegan Logic made. And right there in the thumbnail is why the vegan won. Because the carnivore had no evidence. No, well, I'm pretty liberal when it comes to evidence, but he had no good evidence. It was really weak evidence, like association. And I was just watching this video response. Here it is now. So this is not my video here, and this is not my clown here. I did not put that there. Another thing to mention here is, maybe the reason this guy thought to put a clown there is because you might notice here that this is all blurry. Lifting Vegan Logic did not do that, did not blur it like this. Interesting story. After the debate, the carnivore, whose name is Joey Shwarts, this is what I heard. He filed a privacy complaint after the debate. He forced the Nutrivore to blur his picture so people would not be able to see his identity in this debate. You know, he wasn't blurred before. He could have just done the debate without even showing his face. So I guess the blurring here is him conceding that, well, we're about to see in the end here where he wouldn't concede to something. We're going to see that. But he looks like he's conceding that he lost this debate. Here's what the video looks like now.
Right, like what I've told you about nutritional epidemiology and including variables in the adjustment model, and what would happen if the C in the variance inflation factor adjustment into Google mathematically demonstrate then.
Okay. How about this? I mean, we've eaten significantly less meat and less animal products in the past 100 years, and our rates of heart disease, cancer, all chronic diseases.
Again, it's a poor argument. There's a million things that have changed in the last 100 years. And his statement is even wrong. For the last few thousand years, as anti-vegans have told us, most of the world has been on a grain-based diet, eating less meat. It wasn't until around the 1950s, here in America, the meat industry got us eating more meat, which continues to this day. How about that one? So if you've watched his videos or him talking in interviews, I think he sounds on the smart side. But here, when he goes up against somebody in a debate, it falls apart. His information falls apart. That's because it's wrong.
Anything less than 80% meat will not be best in living and achieving optimal longevity.
Like, it's just baffling that somebody would say something so fucking stupid.
I mean, okay, yeah, so like this just, I mean, like, is this evidence that, are you submitting this as evidence for the hypothesis?
Yeah, I mean, it would be basically a cohort of people, like a population.
So there's an example of how the vegan won by default, because the other guy just, his hypothesis didn't have good evidence for. More examples of how this went.
Either 25 and 35% are the same food.
Yeah, I'm not appreciating how that's different than what I had typed, right? Like any diet consisting of greater than 80% meat is going to ensure maximum longevity, or would you say there's like log linear increases in longevity after 80%?
I'm saying more meat is better before, like after 80%. I'm saying I'm not going to say that a carnivore diet is best for ensuring longevity. I'm simply saying that we should be eating the more meat before 80% of.
So this went on and on and on, where the Nutrivore tried to pin down exactly what the carnivore's hypothesis was. And this tripped him up because he wasn't prepared for this, obviously. This is a crummy way to win when there's much better ways. Now here's a part that's late in the debate that I had just heard just now. And this really irritates me, so I want to respond to it.
Like if a diet in itself, only changing the diet, and I hear you, like you're making a ton of substitutions, so on and so forth. But if you're just changing your diet, like you're making substitutions, but all that you're changing is within the diet, and you feel significantly better sleep, everything that I mentioned, then
we have tons of drugs that interact.
See, where Nutrivore goes there, I don't really understand this. If I were in his position, I'd say, I agree with you that if the only thing you change is your diet, and don't we already know this, that when people switch to a carnivore diet, they get improvements. We're not trying to say it's got to be something else. No, a lot of us you can acknowledge that it was the carnivore diet that made improvements. Yes, improvements over the SAD diet. There was something you were eating that was giving you problems. I see it all the time in comments. People say, yeah, the carnivore diet's an elimination diet. You're eliminating something that was causing a problem. It's not what the diet is that's giving you benefits. It's what it's not.
It's somewhere around 100 different changes if you're going to something that approximates a carnivore diet, because
Right. He makes a great point here. When you change your diet to a carnivore diet, you're making a lot of changes. But these carnivores want it all to come down to meat, of course. That shows that the whole premise of their diet is it's a belief system. It's all bias. They want it to be the meat.
probably the one scenario where selection bias would be most prevalent, right? Because those people are benefiting because it's the first time in their life that they became truly cognizant of what they were eating, and that's where the benefit came.
Yeah, and that's what they say about vegans too. See, we can take all the stuff that's been used against us and use it against other people.
Maybe they lost weight.
Yep, there you go. That's it. A lot of the benefits can be contributed to the fact they lost weight. Doesn't mean the diet's healthy. And people don't even understand weight loss. They still don't.
Yeah, I mean, which is what I'm saying, something I can't quantify.
The dependent variable here, which is maximum longevity, is not seen in these anecdotes. Like, you're not measuring longevity with the people that you're like talking to in Facebook groups and on Twitter and like.
Oh, really? Really? It reminds me of the YouTuber. I called him the longevity dude. The guy looked like he was 24, expert on longevity. And guess what kind of diet he pushed? That was well before the carnivore diet, so it wasn't the carnivore diet. It was along the lines of paleo, which was out then. High fat. All right, this video was just to talk about the debate in general and how it went. But I'll be making a whole separate video on the conclusion and outcome of this debate, which I had a big problem with. And that video is how vegans walked away from this debate, which made them feel victorious. But it didn't help veganism, and it didn't help the animals, because the carnivores walked away, still believing they are right. And for the rest of the world watching, they don't know what to believe, but what they saw was vegans looking like jerks. So make sure you see that video by subscribing and turning notifications on.